Welcome to the Strategic Life Podcast, episode 110, Skeletons in Your Closet, with your host, Coach Mario.
Dr. Mario.
Along with Frank.
You are laughing at all these titles lately.
This is the third time we try to start this episode.
I think if you watch like that, that's true. Yeah, that's happening.
Oh, my Lord.
I think I might edit it and put in the last attempt right here.
It's just...
Podcast, episode 110, Skeletons in Your... Welcome to the Strategic...
Amateurs, bro. Amateurs.
I think I need a napkin or something. My eyes are watering. My eyes are leaking.
Skeletons in your closet.
Skeletons.
Do you have them? And what to do if they're still haunting you, apparently, or if they've recently resurfaced and now it's been brought to light. But what does skeletons in your closet mean, Dr. Mario? Giggles. Sir laughs a lot.
Skeletons in your closet means you have secrets. Secrets that you don't want people to know.
Secrets typically from the past.
From the past.
I mean, this could range from a lot of different things, right?
Sure.
This
Well,
could
if
be,
they're still in the closet, does that mean you still have the secret? Because
it could be the secret has gotten out. It can be that it's still there in the past. It could be that you have fear of it resurfacing. So essentially, but yeah, skeletons in your closet, things that maybe people don't know, and that you wouldn't like them to know, or that, could be harmful.
Typically, if they're in the closet, they're locked. And so the closet is a metaphor for your unconscious mind or your conscious mind, right? There may be things that you don't know that you don't know because they're locked up tight, right? Things that happen maybe in your childhood. You develop childhood amnesia because of some type of trauma, whatever that case may be. And now you're an adult and all of a sudden something triggers it. And it triggers into some type of an emotion, anxiety, fear, anger, sadness, shame, guilt. And you want to retain it, keep the closet door closed.
Right. I mean, there could be other things. You used to do this, or you used to be a dancer at night. And now, that's what I'm saying. There's things in your past, or you dated someone who...
You're not proud of.
You're not proud of, and maybe everyone, they came back and got a job in your workplace, and he's a screw up, and they're like, oh my God, they dated that guy for 9 years. So it could be anything. And now your husband works the job or something. So that's something like, how do you say those things? Which obviously should be said, right? Especially if someone, you have close proximity. By the way, I dated that guy for 9 years.
You went dated for 9 years.
Wow.
That's a long time to date.
Maybe there was a 20th or 30th year reunion and you still have the closet door
There's people
closed?
that are together for 20, 30 years and never been married and have kids and they pay for college and they've never been married.
I think they're more official than dated.
True.
I mean, they're still boyfriend and girlfriend. They're still engaged for 12 years running. This could be you. When you set the date already. Stop messing around.
Give her the ring, dude.
No, she'd probably, well, yeah. They could be engaged without the ring. They
Put a ring on it.
I got nothing.
It could have been cute, and then he had the ring pop. But yeah, set that date already. Stop wasting time.
Frank, shed some light on this closet thing.
So Frank, let's talk about the skeletons in your closet.
I have none. I can't think of one.
You don't have things in your past that you're not.
That I'm not proud of? Yeah,
I know
we all do.
I think you have things in your present you're not.
Those aren't skeletons.
Okay.
Those are
They're
bears.
full-grown human beings, fully alive, fully
Those are
breathing.
big teddy
They're not
bears.
dead.
Okay.
See what I mean, Jelly Bean?
We are giggles in this episode. As far as things we're not proud of in our past, absolutely. But my skeletons are all on the living room, sitting down on the couch. Some are even on the driveway for everybody to see.
On the new couch.
Yeah, right? Oh, yeah.
In the new house.
Yeah.
Frank is a homeowner now. So we're accepting gifts like toaster. No, just kidding.
No, we're going to start charging for the podcast. That's
Skeleton cases.
We might start running ads.
But no, I don't have. I thought about it, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna air out dirty laundry. I just don't know of anything, any kind of weird secret that people don't know. I'm pretty much out there in the open.
You're an open book.
Yeah, I don't have any. Do I have stuff in my past that I'm not proud of? Sure, absolutely, right? Bad relationships, bad friendships, work issues, family issues, dumb stuff we've done. But I think that's pretty public record for me. Number one. Number two, as far as like things that I'm currently not proud of, no, I don't think I have a single one. I'm proud of my friends, my circle, my family. I'm proud of our business. I'm proud of my clients, the people I work with. I'm proud of myself, right? I wake up in the morning very happy and pleased with what I've done for myself, what I'm going to do for the day. So I don't think I have that anymore. I did at one point. So I can go back to times when I wasn't proud of myself for what I was doing. So, and those are those moments you do have those skeletons in the closet.
What was her name?
And there's been several names I haven't been proud of.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna drop names.
Don't go there.
I do have limitations, gentlemen. People.
Let's go deeper. Let's put all the things that you regret about your past and that you're embarrassed about, and we'll just start 1 through 3, which are the most impactful. I'm just kidding. We're not going there.
Man, I regret not starting my business earlier.
That's not a skeleton, though.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't have...
Well, okay, so here's the thing.
Like, what constitutes a skeleton in the closet?
So
like,
here you
something
go.
I'm not proud of?
Let's use an example. Again, just to brainstorm, what might not you be proud of? I use like a dating example. Let's say you used to mess with people who were married, or you've broken up a relationship, or you broke up a happy home.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't just get into a relationship and say, so have you ever done anything like this? Oh, well, no, I haven't.
But does that constitute a skeleton in the closet? Look, I wasn't proud. I've done those things. I've been a home wrecker. I'll say it. I've done it, right?
Skeletons out.
No. Slow down. Hey. I'm the people's champ. I'm wide open here. I'm exposing myself to you.
So therefore, that'd be a skeleton and a warning for any young ladies
Totally.
that are after this.
No, I haven't done that anymore. Like, no. Those are red flags.
He's converted.
That is so 2023.
No, you learn your lesson with those kind of things, right?
I have to say, I agree with Frank. I've seen him turn that page.
No, man, like the red flags are out there. I guess now it's easier to spot other people's skeletons in the closet, and if you really pay attention, you'll listen to it. I'll give you an example. I've gone on dates and we're saying this and that, and when the divorce finalizes, wait, what? That's happened, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you're separated, you're allowed to date, things like that. But you got to pay attention because the flags are out there. Not that's, oh no, I can't. But now you know what you're getting yourself into, right? Where we'll kind of touch up on a bunch of points, at least for me. Right. Where you get in trouble is when you ignore those things. There's a difference between acknowledging and ignoring those things. And I think that's where it is. I've acknowledged all my skeletons and I know where they are, and hey, they are what they are, right? I can't get rid of them. My past is my past. But am I going to sit there and make the same mistake over and over and over? No, I'm not going to do that.
I mean, I think what's important too is in some cases, I mean, especially speaking about relationships, like, do you go into the relationship, like into the next one, if you're in that, in that part of your life, and do you say, okay, well, in 1991, I broke this guy's heart, and in 1993, I did this, and you don't really necessarily do that. So what I think about when I say a skeleton in your closet in that way is, for me, is if something from a past relationship or experience is affecting the current one, that may be a skeleton that you need to work on.
There you go.
Because otherwise, I mean, what are questions or random things? Like, for instance, some people want to know how many people you've been intimate with or things like that. Yeah, that could be a skeleton if you have, a list that's, hitting the high 80s or something insane like that.
Inquiring minds want to know.
But ultimately, right, I mean, it just depends on what it is. However, if that's affecting you or your current relationship, you may want to bring that out because it's clearly affecting you. And if it's something with the lovely, and here's another just example on how some skeletons in your closet. We are, and I say we,
collectively,
us, the royal we right here, us three, have the beauty of knowing, and depending on your age group at home, the pre-internet and post-internet things.
True.
I am so glad I didn't come up with camera phones and all that. I got those, 18, 19, 20. I think the first one with the Sprint, with a nice, cool, you know what I mean? The flip phones with the camera. But we didn't document our lives, and thank God.
Well, you don't have to document your life now.
No, what I mean is not about documenting your life now, is that things you could have done. Like how many people, speaking of skeletons, some skeletons are alive and well because the internet goes back. Your old Twitter account, your old Tumblr account, you get drafted into college, and now someone sees the post that you put when you were in 8th grade online. That's
MySpace account.
Theoretically, that is a skeleton. That's something that you said that was racist, that was phobic, that was not nice, and here it comes. And I believe that, you can't really delete anything from the internet. So therefore, that is a skeleton. And that is something that can come back to haunt you.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying, meaning the kids nowadays have it a little harder, and you got to, especially when it comes to, getting canceled for things that were done in the past. I mean, I think we've mentioned this before. It's not fair to, penalize someone's, judge someone and penalize them on their whole life on one thing that they tweeted back, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, or, whatever.
While they were in college and trying to make ends meet.
Perhaps. Why? What did you tweet? That sounded oddly specific. What did you do?
Well, not me.
The tweeter wasn't there when you were with Tommy Tucker.
Not me, but hey,
we haven't mentioned Tommy Tucker in a minute.
Tucker
it has been a while.
Have you looked for him? We got to find that guy.
We got to find Tommy Tucker.
Fly him in.
It was when I was 17 to 19. No. I got to tell you, it was from the age of 17 to 19. I was stationed in Germany, and that's when I was supervised and mentored and coached by Sergeant Tommy Tucker. Mm-hmm. However, in the context of what I was just relating to,
we got a drink.
Individuals that have had some hardships and have made some mistakes in their life and have wanted to keep that privacy. Unfortunately, others that are in their circle, when they turned against them, broadcasted, and then the skeleton came out of the closet, ruining relationships, both the proximity between that person and the person that outed them, and any particular future prospects they may have had. If we're talking about relationships there, sometimes even relationships within their networks, businesses, and or church networks. When that event or experiences came out, they suffered the consequences, the verbal lashing, the judgments, and that sort of thing, which I think is ludicrous. If I recall, in the good book, Jesus Met the Woman at the Well, she had 6 previous experiences,
entanglements,
and the current one wasn't hers or husband's either. He said, "Go and sin no more." Mm-hmm. That's it. So everything will come to the light. I was having this conversation with our daughters just this last week. There are things in your bloodline, in your history, in your past that maybe you didn't have in your closet, but someone in your family perhaps had in the closet. And then all of a sudden the person dies and things start to come out. And it's not the skeletons. It's not crazy spirits or anything like that. It's information that was held private. All of a sudden people either feel regret or you feel shame because they're in that same family, and it impacts them in different ways. Just depends on the context.
Yeah. My mom says that you can't hide anything between heaven and earth.
True.
Right? Like, because no matter where you put it, it's in there, and then somebody will find it.
Yes.
And that's a good way, so my mom always says that, and I'm like, oh man, I guess she's right, My thing is just how amazing our psyche is that we can bury those things, right? Because for me, I'd rather just deal with something than to put it away, lock it up, have that looming, telltale heart pounding on the floor, always reminding me of something evil behind. I can't live with that. I'd rather just be out in the open. Let's get it out of the way, whatever it is. If it's a tough conversation, let's have it. However it needs to be dealt with, let's deal with it. I that's why I've never been the type to, bury little secrets and things like that. Cause that just kills me inside.
All right. Well, for a lot of people, it does as well. Palpitations, fear, stress, distress, doing whelm, as Coach says, right? Overwhelm.
Doing whelm overly.
Yeah, completely. and so those are consequences, and sometimes it's defense mechanisms based on the individual. So in your particular case, you decide to handle it up front when it's necessary. Other people just say, I'm sticking it in this little box. I'm going to turn the key. I'm going to throw the key away for a little bit.
And we're going to put that box inside of another box.
Another box.
And then we're going to put that box inside of
a
another
bigger
box. And then we're going to bury that box 20 feet underground.
Put some dirt on it. Pat, pat, pat.
Go. So, I mean, like I said, and in some cases you may not, they could not be in your awareness. It could be an unconscious thing that you did. Again, to give an example, like, right? Like, let's say, you know, you're a mom now, and in your teenage years you had an abortion or something like that. You know, like those are things that you're not proud of, that you may have buried because they were too painful at the time or whatnot. And then you had other children, or then, you know, your current, you know, your husband says, oh, you know, like, we're gonna go through this experience. You're gonna be pregnant for the first time, and you're like, oh, I was before. You know what I mean? So it's just things, and it's just it depends for your wellness, for your own mental health. It's, if there's something that is giving you a problem that from your past, the best thing is to let it out. Speak about it if you need to speak with someone professionally. And if we're talking relationships and things like that, you may want to put things out on Front Street. Now, that doesn't mean be honest, be open, you know, and it can be as simple as, you know, you're dating someone, I'm interested in you, and like, hey, I've been through some stuff, man. Like, you know what? Like, that's a great way to lead forward. Like, if you feel that your life where you're currently standing is a mess, there's nothing better and no better opportunity than when someone's interested in you. Like, I really like you. I'm like, hey, I'm a mess. I have this, I have that. And guess what? If they're really interested, they may want to learn more. And ultimately, if you tell them these things and they can't handle it, then there's the door. Good. You did yourself a favor. But
you're absolutely
there's nothing
right.
wrong with that. With, I'm a mess. This is what I'm dealing with. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a single mom. I have no time for any extracurricular activities to be dating. You know, you want to be with me, then a date is you coming with me to Billy's soccer game.
Yep.
But then it's known, and you know, then these things are out there, and then you have nothing to fear internally. You've put everything out there. You've brought in maybe any skeletons or any things that have that you're not proud of, have been put right there out in front, and then, you know, you can move forward knowing that you've put your best foot forward with your best intentions, and you're trying to progress, through life with the right foot forward.
So how we fix that? Very easy, right? Because we're telling you all the different types of problems you can experience. So we'll also provide a solution to that, right? And that's what makes us different than any other podcast that you may not be listening to. You need to delete off your subscription except for this one. Communication. Communication does two things. One, when we communicate with each other, it organizes our thoughts. So if I have a very complex idea or thought, and I need to either organize it in either time, structure, or process, speaking it out loud to somebody is a good way of you being able to organize a proper process for it. 1, 2, it sets the right expectations. So let's go with Coach's point, right? You have skeletons in the closet as far as, you know, relationships. And that's the one we mostly have skeletons. That's the closet we have the most skeletons in, right? Relationships with each other, with people, because we're all complicated individuals. Being upfront about it will set you off on the right trajectory, right? That little 1 degree shift right now on the first date doesn't mean a lot, but call it a year down the line where the relationship is, that shift makes a big impact. And it's okay. It's more than okay. It's beneficial. It's good for you to say those things on a first date, you know, and especially once you get to our age, man. Like I'm 39. When I go on a first date, it's not, oh, tell me about your hobbies and what you like. We've already kind of met somewhere down the line. Like I'd rather see if there's more substance there. So having the proper communication as far as, hey, look, yeah, I've been through some stuff. I've been divorced. I have kids. And this is how I raise my children. Hey, here's how this is going to work with how you get to meet my friends, family, and children. Like those are great.
Yeah, you're spot on.
You know, if you're gonna wait 2 months down the line, but I don't want to scare them off. That's how you put the skeletons in the closet.
Correct.
Because now you're 6 months into a relationship, and something that was very important and detrimental to you, you can no longer talk about. Why? Because you put it in a box, that you put in another box, that you then buried in the backyard.
Yeah.
It was left out.
So you can't do things like that to yourself.
If
You can't
they're
do that to other
interested,
person.
then there's no problem saying, I have no time for everything. My kids' things take up all the time. And by the way, my ex-husband's a terrorist who tries to make my life hell and still drives by my house at night and tells me and takes pictures of my car and sends them to me. So if you can deal with that, then we're good. But it would be nice to know.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
yeah, he's not over me. He still comes around. He comes around unannounced. It's like those are things people want to know.
Yeah, and again, we're all complicated individuals. We all have our things. But the last thing I want to find out is, you're one day we're all hanging out. We're 3 months in, and your phone's blowing up. Who is that? Oh no, that's my ex. He still terrorizes me.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I broke up with him a week after we started talking.
Yeah. Wait a minute. There's something. How long ago before you guys? Oh no. Well, we broke up 2 weeks before I went on a date with you. Okay, wait a minute. So this is recent.
Right.
Is there something still there? Why are you removing that from my choice? That's a form of lying, man.
And then jumping
an omission
from-
of truth is a lie, right? You're manipulating that person, and so that's how you end up with these skeletons in the closet, and that's how they affect you. So don't do that.
Dr. Mario?
Truth shall set you free. And I think what we've heard here is timing is important.
Yeah.
Positioning is extremely important, and context. And so the question you must ask yourself is, are you invested in this relationship enough to share the truth? Because the truth shall set you free. Now, timing is extremely important. The earlier you do it, the better it is. The more you wait, the more restrictions you've placed on yourself in order to have the conversation, the tougher it gets. Now, at the same time, we're living in a microwave society. Everyone wants to press a button and voila, we're in relationship and people are having intimacy and all that stuff. Get to know that individual first. How do they feel about children, if you have children, if that's the case, as has been exposed? How do you feel about what you do, who you are in life? Bring up all of these questions, get to know that individual, and then have the conversation if you feel you're going to go to that next step. Because if you fail to do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Communication is key, as Frank and Coach have said. It's extremely important to that is managing relationships. You have a temper. That individual needs to know. And, if you listen to our previous podcast about nice people, shameless plug, the reality is that in relationships, most people wear their best dress. And what do I mean by that? They put on a mask. Mask is, personality. Comes from the Greek term. And people will wear their best mask. Why? Because they're trying to connect. They're trying to establish rapport. They're trying to get the prize, if you will. The person you dreamed of, the man of your dreams, the woman of your nightmares. I mean, your dreams. Whatever the case may be, right? What you don't want it is to turn into a nightmare. And that's going to happen if you keep the skeletons in the closet. Because they will come out at some point. Another, you just can't hold on to them, whether they're consciously or unconsciously. Yeah. The people that surround you, the circle, the people that you hang out with, someone will say something or something will come up in conversation where you will withhold and someone will make a face and the guy will go, okay, something's going on here. Something's not right.
No, and especially with your peer group. You could be holding something and, someone doesn't know any better. I haven't seen anyone this happy since this and this and that.
Right.
You came in right at the right time after she lost the baby. Or wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
The people don't. Again, this random scenarios are just kind of just jumping up in there. But Frank's right. What he mentioned, it is mostly about relationships that we have these concerns. I mean, because your boss isn't going to go, I heard you worked for someone else for years before you came here. It's going to be something that affects something personal. And Dr. Mario's right in that aspect. If it matters that much, if you care about that person that much, then you'll want them to know. right? I think what's a funny thing that's said sometimes in weddings and things like that, they'll be like, I married my best friend and all that, right? And then when things go bad, it's just like we're friends. It's just like we're roommates. And I'm like, wait, when did the same phrase become bad now?
Right. I love you, but I don't love you like that. What is that?
It's like we're like friends now. I'm like, that was the whole point. Like when I hear people say that was you married your best friend, right? So that's what it should be. But if we're in the dating phase, you could be married and still have skeletons. So let's be real.
That's another podcast.
Or you can make skeletons while you're married.
True. Like, you can build them.
Oh yeah, man. Like, let's not pretend like this is always something in the past. No. You can catch yourself as you're assembling skeletons, and you're
like you're at IKEA,
man.
Yes. You think you're doing origami? What you're doing is that.
I have seen and been part of many closet buildings that we are going to shove many skeletons in.
He's established the foundation.
Yeah,
they're not our skeletons to display.
Yeah. There's future skeletons that have not been.
They're still alive.
But it's not always just relationship. Like you gotta have, if you have reservations about something, also voice it out, right? So same thing again when in the dating, we'll continue with that. If you have reservations about somebody, let them know, hey, look, my reservations are this. Like you have this, and this. I don't deal well with that. Or hey, you know what? I've had it. I've been on dates and you work too much. Yeah, you know what? Your reservation about me is that I work too much, and that's gonna cause a strain in the relationship. And my reservation is that you're gonna judge me and you're gonna hate me because I work so much. Like, is that something we can overcome? No. All right. Hey, let's finish the meal. Have fun. Nice. We'll split the check or then going nowhere. No, I'm playing. And
I have a Groupon for this meal, and I'm not ashamed to show it now.
Now the apps actually say, "Do you want to split the bill?"
So, so it's okay to have that in a professional way as well. Have that if you're going to partner up with somebody, if you're going to work with somebody, if you're going to take on new clients, or you're looking for a new job, make sure that all that's already voiced. So if you're at an interview, and I can tell you not only from us, but all the interview process I've been a part of for companies I've worked for and companies I've worked with, man, like they rather just have the honesty. Hey, look, man, I what I really want to do is I've had it. I've been in an interview, the guy's interviewing for financial work, and then he's like, no, what I really want to do is be a firefighter. Bobby, this isn't for you. Because you're going to leave us in 6 months, and then we're going to have to restart everything. Yeah. And then for you, this is just going to delay your process 6 months. Go to the academy today. As soon as you finish here, go apply at the academy. Like, stop. So that's where communication and being honest is the only way you A, don't build skeletons, and B, don't hide them and have them, linger.
No, I agree. When I graduated from law school, I interviewed with several firms, and one particular firm in Fort Lauderdale actually wanted to hire me. But I was very candid, even though I wanted to obviously be part of the firm, they were trying to hire me into a civil law arena. I said, my ultimate goal is to obviously work in sports law, and they didn't have a sports law. And they were very frank. They said, we'd love to have you, but we don't have a sports law, nor do we plan to open a sports law department. So we think you're a great fit if this is what you want to do. And I thanked them very much. I said, well, that's not necessarily what I want to do. I can do it, and I can do it extremely well. But if you don't have a pathway to X, then let's say goodbye right now. And we did. And it was a very lucrative offer. And you just have to make those tough decisions, because ultimately you're going to be unhappy. And I see people, we coach people, as you know, you do as well, that are in businesses or start businesses that were some sort of a dream, and then when they get into it, it becomes their worst nightmare. They thought they might make money quickly, whatever the case may be. They had some experiences in the past. Tony Robbins says it best: the number one chokehold in any business is the business owner. Mm-hmm. And I would translate that to, in your ministry, in your church, the number one chokehold is the guy at the top or the gal at the top. It doesn't matter what, whether male or female. And the reality is, because sometimes there's things about your past history, whether it was during childhood or as you were growing up in the formative years, all the way up through 25, things happened. They're in the closet. They weren't necessarily those types of sexual things, relationship issues, but they may have been other type of relationships with people. Teachers, for example, can mark you. Math teachers in the 7th grade can mark you for life. Experiences of several of my children. And so it's not just the intimacy type of relationships that can impact your life for a long time. And if you don't release that by having the confidence in speaking with someone, whether it's a coach, a counselor, a pastor, clergy, whatever the case may be, to put that behind you, you continue to drive your life forward looking through the rearview mirror and having the impact of whatever those 5 big emotions are: anger, sadness, guilt, fear, shame, hurt, those kinds of things. So it's important to release those skeletons, open the closet, let it go. But it's also important to know whom you're going to share the information with. I would say someone that you trust. Look at your circle. You know, one of the reasons you're having just ginormous success is because you shifted your relationship circle. Look at the business folks that you now attract. So I call that you are now fishing in the right pool. You're in the right lake. You're in the right ocean, whatever the case may be. Some people are just navigating upstream all the time in their life. They're looking for advice from the people that know less than they do.
Right.
And we always say it. If you're in a network or several networks and you're the top gun, you need another network. You need some people that can pour into you. But don't look for advice from people that are in the same situations that you are, because that could end up creating more skeletons in your closet than you want.
You wouldn't ask overweight people for health and nutrition advice. You wouldn't ask 5-time divorcees for relationship advice. Like, and that's that's what kind of a red flag. Like when you think about who's giving you advice, especially when it comes to advice, where are they? Like if if you're taking financial advice from someone who's not doing well and it,
would you ask the CEO of a failed bank?
There you go.
Check out our previous podcast.
Yeah. So who you speak to. Okay, give me something specific. I got you. If you have a checkered past in whatever type of way it is, right? Whether it's relationship, professional, whatever it is, family, anything like that. And that's your past, and you're going to need somebody that you want your future to keep going with. Then you have to find somebody who's future oriented, who has a vision, who has goals, who's not judgmental. The problem is we want to change people. Oh, I really like this person, and I hope, or I will make sure that they are not, affected by my past or my current situation or this or that, right? Like, you can't do that. You're just trying to mold and change people to your liking, and that's probably the main reason why you have such a bad past, right? Why you have these skeletons. So don't do that. So that's one. And then 2, what I guess the best way I can describe it, be very careful who you hear things from, because they might be the problem. Right? So and to Dr. Mario's point, well, the ginormous success and my network and my circle and all of that. I used to take advice from people I didn't want to be like. Why? Because it was the next step, and it was the executive, and it was this, and it was that, and it was the higher up. So that person has that position, so they must know what they're talking about, and blah, blah, blah. I was just making the same mistakes that they've made. So that's something that I learned. And it wasn't that they were doing it bad. It's just we weren't a good fit, but I was listening to those people that I was not a good fit with. Once I found the people I was a good fit with, man, that changed everything.
Everything shifted.
Everything shifted.
I could see it.
And so that's finding your network. So, but that applies to everything. That applies to your professional. That applies to your personal. So if you're friends, you're constantly, we're in the gossip. We're in this. We're in talking trash. We behind people. I'm not happy with them. We're always fighting or bickering or things like that. And I'm not gonna tell this person this, skeleton. And I'm gonna hang out and not invite this person, skeleton. Or hey, I'm in a relationship with this person and I don't want them to find out. It's just it's easier if they don't find out about where I spent the money, skeleton. If you're doing those things, yeah, that's what comes back to haunt you.
Your network determines your net worth.
Correct.
There's no doubt. And people are not broken, so they don't need to be fixed. We just have individuals that have had some heartbreaks, some situations, but people just want and need some other alternatives, perspectives. to see what they cannot see so that they can become who they need to be and rise above all of the darkness and the cloud that's out there, whether it's social media or skeletons in the closet, whatever the case may be, however it impacts you. You've got to rise above it. And the way you do is by being true to thine own self, be true. Somebody said, and then more famous than me.
The last thing I'll say, don't be the person that causes other people to hide things from you. Oh, but I'm not the bad guy, right? They always cheat on me. They always lie to me. Man, you got to look in the mirror. Like if you have gone through relationship after relationship after relationship and they've cheated on you or they lie to you or they spend money and then it's the same constant problem. If it's all these different relationships, right? The same thing. Oh, but the job doesn't have my best interest at heart. The job is this. I got fired because of this. But man, at some point where the common factor there is you. Right. You need to take a moment and say, hey, what am I doing that's causing these people to hide things from me? Right? And once you realize that, oh, wait, it could be me.
Yeah, the common denominator is obviously that individual. And the question we propose that you ask yourself before the court is, what was my role in this?
Yep.
In whatever the case may be. Because unless you accept personal responsibility, we'll continue to play the blame game. We'll continue to be in the effect and never at cause. Blaming people, persons, and places, and never creating, never designing, never having true joy.
Yeah.
Never having true happiness. You know, time is short. Time is extremely short. This week, I was reading about an actor who died at 60.
Yeah.
And you wake up one day and other people that are younger than you are gone. And you're going like, wow, what is going on here?
Yeah. So ultimately, if you have skeletons in your closet, this means you.
Bury the bones.
Number one, deal with it. If it's something that's causing you stress, if it's something that's in the back of your mind, maybe giving you anxiety of stress, because it could, it's whatever it is, deal with it. Meaning, let it out. Talk to somebody. Talk to a professional. Let it happen that way. If it's in a relationship or anything else like that, just tell the truth. If it's something that, especially if it's something that they can find out and it's only a matter of a conversation being had or something on the internet or something, tell the truth. Let them know. A lot of people would say, I had to hear it from someone else and you didn't. You had me out here looking like a fool. Everyone knew but me. And someone told me or someone overheard on accident. They'd rather hear it from you. And if you cared enough, they'd know that was true. They'd know that would be true, and you would have told them. And 3 words from Frank: don't go to IKEA and buy yourself a little bone kit and assemble new skeletons.
Yeah, man.
Don't build any new ones, which means change the way you're living now. If you're assembling new ones or on the look to assemble new ones, just looking for potential, new skeletons on the streets or whatever it is, stop it.
You could also make those dry bones come to life. What do I mean by that?
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
You don't have to continue to live the way you've always lived.
Yep.
You can create a new chapter in your life. You can redesign your future. You can look in yourself and audit and say, where am I going?
Yeah.
What do I need to do? What needs to change?
Or even at that rate, don't even go dig up the old bones. Don't go looking for the ex-girlfriend on Facebook and Instagram. Don't go looking for the old bones to rediscover the one that got away or any of that nonsense. Frank rolls his eyes because you can't find any of the old ones.
Thank God. Look, guys, the grass is never greener on the other side because the bill on the other side is probably even more costlier.
Didn't work out as a relationship. We're going to stay friends.
Till next time.